Now, in this next video, we're going to look at just a and b in number 3, graphing these two piecewise functions. So I'm going to draw the axes here. And what I'm going to do is we're going to split this up for x less than 0 and x is greater than or equal to 0. So the values where x is less than 0 are to the left of the y-axis, greater than or equal to include the y-axis, and going to the right. Now, we're going to look at what kind of graphs these are. Well, the first piece is basically y equals -2. F of x equals -2. And that is a very special line. It is a horizontal line, so y equals -2. So all the way to the left of the y-axis, we are at y equals -2. And right up to the y-axis, but not on the y-axis. If x was -0.00000001, that should be graphed with that horizontal line, but not 0 itself. So there's a special way we signify that in math, and that is with an open circle. So we're going to put an open circle right there on that y-axis. Okay? So what that means is that something very, 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 very close to that y-axis is graphed on that line, like -0.000000000001, but not 0 itself. 0 itself, if x was equal to 0, that's graphed in this line. And what that line looks like, y equals 3, that is a horizontal line that crosses the y-axis at 3. So we go up here at the point 0, 3. And we graph that line. And that's what that piecewise function looks like. For x is less than 0 down here, we're at -2. For y greater than or equal to 0, with a closed circle, that's how we include 0, we are at 3. So that's what that graph looks like. The second one, a little bit more complicated. Now, the first line, y equals -x plus 2. Now, that first line, we know what that line looks like. It's got a y-intercept of 2 and a slope of -1. So, we have, there's the y-intercept of 2. That's the first piece. We'll graph this first piece in 2 in blue. So, we graph that first piece, and we have y-intercept of 2, slope of -1, and I'm going to see what the value of this function is at x equals 2. So the value of this function, if I plug 2 in for x, the opposite of 2 is -2, plus 2 is 0. Now, notice how it's on this line all the way up to 2. So we're going to open circle there. And this y-intercept is 0, 2. And we're not quite going to graph that yet. Okay? Now, in 2, in the second piece, we're going to graph the line y equals x minus 2. But only to the right of x equals 2, which is this spot right here. Okay, now we're going to include 2, so I'm going to see what function, or what the value of this is if I let x equal 2. What is 2 minus 2? Well, it's 0. So we're at 0 there. And then for x minus 2, okay, it's got a y-intercept of -2. Well, if we went to the left of 2, that's where it would cross, but we don't have that, because it's not going to the left of 2, it's only going to the right of 2, and the slope of this line is 1. So that blue and red part together is the entire piecewise graph. Hopefully this looks familiar to you. Hopefully this looks familiar from the standpoint that it is the absolute value graph, or an absolute value graph. And to let you in on a little secret, what that would look like, that's what that function would look like if you graph that absolute value function. But instead it's defined in two pieces. The next video we'll look at two more graphs of piecewise functions.